Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Steph. If you haven't watched any of my videos before, thank you so much for tuning in, and if you have, welcome back. I just thought I would share with you some big news that's going on in our household, and that is that we are having baby number 2. So yeah, I've been meaning to share this news for so long, but life is just really busy. I'm working 3 days a week, and then I feel like on my days off we do swimming lessons and we go to playgroup, and then we've been sick. And so everything's just got really hectic. And yeah, basically I haven't got around to sharing the news with you guys. And I just thought, why not take the opportunity now? The house is relatively clean. Emmett's asleep. I've got food cooking in the oven. I feel like I'm semi put together, minus the fact that my hair needs washing because I've just come back from swimming, and thought that I would just share the good news with you guys. So I just thought I would cover a little bit about what's been going on since we found out, just how I've been feeling, just general pregnancy stuff. If this isn't what you normally like to watch from me, that's okay. And if this is what you like, please comment below and let me know. And like, subscribe, and all that blah, blah, blah stuff that we have to do if we want to keep making videos. Just a good incentive. On that note, just really quickly, I'm getting closer and closer to 1,000 subscribers, which is my first big sort of milestone for me personally. It's the time where I've said that if I get to 1,000 subscribers, then I'm going to buy myself a proper camera, because currently I film all my videos on my phone. So if you know anybody, or if you're just tuning in for the first time, I would really greatly appreciate it if you subscribed. It obviously means a lot to us smaller YouTubers to get those subscribers. So yeah, that would be fabulous. Okay, so update. I am nearly 20 weeks, so nearly halfway, which has gone surprisingly quick and surprisingly slow. If you've ever been pregnant before, you'll know what I mean. In terms of like getting organized and prepped, everything seems to go quickly. You feel like the next week comes around, the next week comes around, you're trying to prepare things and get organized, and then you're like, oh God, I've got no time left. But then in terms of how long is the pregnancy going, that feels like it goes for ages and ages. So I don't know if that's just me, but that's how I feel. The first trimester, I was sick, much sicker than I was with my son, Emmett, who's just over 2, if you haven't tuned in before. Like vomiting multiple times a day, lots of nausea, basically just the only thing that helped me, and I'm just going to tell you in case there's something that you haven't tried and you might want to try, is chewing gum, which I know sounds really weird because like brushing my teeth made me feel really sick, but actually chewing mint gum, I don't know if it was like the saliva or maybe too much information, but all that actually really helped keep my stomach calm. I was really fortunate that the worst of my morning sickness, well, fortunate I guess, is that it was over my school holidays. So as a teacher in Australia, I had about 6 weeks off over Christmas, New Year's and all of January, and that was when I was mostly sick. So that was, for me, it was good, like bad but good that I got the bulk of it over. So by the time I went back to school, I was about 14 weeks, and I just haven't felt anywhere near as bad. My other symptoms, nothing major for me. Occasional funny tastes in mouth, bit of fatigue. Actually, I feel like maybe less fatigue than with Emmett, which is strange given the fact that I feel like I get less sleep now because he still wakes up like most nights. He has to have like perfect conditions for sleeping, like not too hot, not too cold, not sick, not overtired, not under, like, or just so many conditions. Anyway, that's just my son. That's just what he's like. And yeah, other than that, I've been feeling pretty well. No cravings here. Like I didn't really have any cravings when I was pregnant with Emmett either. Definitely leaning towards savory foods, but that's typical for me. Sometimes I really feel like chocolate and ice cream, which I'm trying to really limit. Because of first pregnancy, I ended up with gestational diabetes. So I was diagnosed with a 5.1 fasting level. So depending on where you are in the world, that may not be over the limit, but for me it was. So I became insulin dependent at night time. I was only on 4 or 5 units of insulin for the last maybe 6 to 8, probably about 8 weeks of my pregnancy, maybe a little bit more, even maybe to 10 with Emmett. And yeah, ended up having a cesarean delivery with him because he was breech, big head, first pregnancy, and also with the diabetes I was going to get induced anyway. It was all this different stuff. This time around, I'm not sure whether I'd like to try for an actual delivery or a C-section. I'm meeting with my midwife next week, so hopefully I'll have a bit more of an idea of how I'm feeling and what they want me to do, and obviously then it's going to come down to what's the safest for me, safest for the baby, and whatever my obstetrician recommends. I'm fairly happy to go with their guidelines. I trust them. They're medical professionals. They're trained. I'm trying to just keep my anxiety levels low and calm as much as possible around that. especially because of coronavirus, which I know everybody's probably sick to death of hearing about. But as a pregnant woman who, when you're pregnant, you're slightly more immunocompromised, I'm definitely keeping my eye on the statistics and the data. I would rather this not be happening. I feel like the world, 2020 has been a pretty rough year so far, on all accounts, really. So it would be nice if things settled down, although I'm due late July, early August, so middle of winter here in Australia, middle of flu season, potentially middle of coronavirus season. So I'm just trying to not overthink it too much. Although at 2 a.m, I quite often read statistics and track trend data because that's the kind of person that I am. We do not know the gender or sex, and we don't intend to find out the sex. We could know. We did the Percept testing, which is similar to the Harmony. It's a NIPT, which is the non-invasive prenatal testing that a lot of places around the world and a lot of obviously people are offering now, that you can look into some common genetic conditions and get a bit of a sense of where you're at with that. Everyone's reasoning for getting that done is different. I'm not going to share our reasoning just because I don't think it's particularly relevant. If you'd like to know, of course, you can always ask, and I might be able to contact you and let you know. But yeah, we got that done. Everything was all clear. I was told my GP under strict instructions, please do not tell us the gender. So yeah, excuse me. And he wrote a note down, and then he sent me the email, said, no, you're not all clear. And as per discussed, the gender, he wrote, gender will remain a secret. So yeah, we don't know. I felt initially like I was having a girl. Then we got our 12-week scan. And if anyone knows anything about nub theory, you're just going to get a sense of the type of person I am. I overthink and overread everything. Nub theory is when the tubercular, I think it's called tubercular or whatever, before it forms into the male or female anatomy, it either shrinks back down or it raises. And if it raises, it's going to be a boy, and vice versa. If it doesn't, then it's more likely to be a girl. And ours was quite raised. And I didn't initially notice it, but my husband pointed it out, and I was like, yeah. So I don't know for sure, but I'm thinking that we might be having another boy. I always thought that I would just have boys. I would really like a daughter if that's in the world's universe's plan for us. If not, that's okay too. I think Emmett would absolutely love a brother. He keeps telling me that it's a sister. He insists it's a sister. We draw pictures of a baby sister. Mention baby brother, goes back to baby sister, girl. So anyway, we'll see. We have our names sorted. We've actually had them locked in now for quite a while. I reckon maybe 6 weeks or so. And we haven't got any other names. No other names have come to me where I'm like, oh no, we need to change it. So I think they're pretty locked in. But if you have any suggestions for names, please comment below. I like names that are not in the top 100, but that are not uncommon, modern type names. I prefer more traditional, classic names. I love place names. I love nature names. That's kind of where I lean in terms of names. So if you have any suggestions for either boy or girl names, please comment below. I would appreciate it. Otherwise, just generally feeling pretty good now. Second trimester seems to be treating me well. Just thinking I'm starting to feel some movement. I actually feel like I've felt some movement since about 14 weeks, maybe even 13, but hard to know for sure. I felt movement about 16 weeks with Emmett. It feels sort of similar, that fluttery kind of weird turny feeling. My cat's coming over and is going to annoy me. Yeah, so other than that, feeling really good, which is I'm thankful for. Indigestion stuff, occasionally feeling nauseous, not often, but sometimes. Other than that, nothing major really to report there. In terms of weight gain, my doctor keeps telling me that 10 to 12 kilos is fine. I keep telling him that because I had gestational diabetes, I know my obstetrician's going to disagree with my GP and say that I should only gain 6 to 8. So I'm trying to keep that down as much as possible. Last time I checked, I think I'd gained about 2.5 kilos, which is maybe a week or so ago, hoping to limit it as much as possible because I'm not a small person. And after I've had this, which I'm pretty 99.9% sure that we're having 2 children and that's it, that I'd like to try and shift some weight for health reasons, for no other reason than that. I'm really quite happy in myself in many other regards, but it'd be nice to fit into some more clothes, more variety of clothes, more different types of clothes, all that kind of stuff. I feel like I'm going, in my head, I've got a track of what I wanted to talk about, but I also feel like I'm kind of going all over the place, so I apologize if that seems to be the case. We're both really excited. We have started to clean out rooms, and we sort of got maybe third to halfway through cleaning out the study, which mostly it's become my husband's gaming room, which is very sad to lose. Behind me is where his desk is going to go, which is in the dining room. He's going to have to downsize his desk, so he's losing from going from 2 monitors to 1 monitor. I am secretly happy because it means he's going to be in a more open environment, and maybe he will game less, which I think will be a good thing for everyone involved. I don't know. I'm not a gamer, and so if you are a gamer, I apologize, but I just don't get it. Like, I try and understand it, but I just don't understand it. Like, I just can't. And so that's going to become Emmett's room. I did think about having it the other way around and making that a new nursery, and Emmett could just stay put, and having 2 cots. And I thought by the time my baby arrives, it's going to be about 2.5. And he's probably going to be within 6 months of changing into a big bed anyway. I thought we may as well just try and get it over and done with now, make it a big special deal for him. So we're in the process of doing that. There's lots to be done there. I want a wall painted. We want to install the wardrobe of some sort. We need to buy all this new furniture. Then the nursery is going to pretty much stay as it is at the moment. I'm just going to tidy it up and stuff. Then we also want to get a new wardrobe for our room. We want to downsize our dining table. More just change the shape. We've got a rectangle. We want to get a round one. We want some more storage for the lounge room. We maybe want to change couches. There's a whole heap of stuff happening. So it's more just a case of time and money. And if those things work out, then I'll show you the process of all of that, because I feel like, I don't know, I love watching people's, wardrobe tours and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, I feel like I've gone on for long enough. I'm sure more will come to me, and I can talk about that in another video. If you've enjoyed this at all, if you have any questions at all about my pregnancy or just pregnancy in general, I'm not an expert by any means, but I know some stuff. Feel free to comment, ask questions, that kind of stuff. Thank you so much for watching, and I will speak to you guys soon. See ya.